And welcome to Weather and Ag in Focus. Thanks for joining us on this some day of the week. We're looking at a nice day out there. It's 61 degrees right now, and we're continuing to warm to the upper 60s today. We'll have a full rundown on the forecast because there's more pleasant temperatures, a lot of wind, a lot of rain, some colder temperatures, then more nice temperatures, and another round of rain. And the forecast, I know a lot of folks are probably wondering, well, when am I going to be able to stay out in the field? When am I going to need to come back in? And we'll run down that forecast and get those questions answered over the next hour. If you want to join in on the program today and ask some questions, feel free to do so. Give us a call on the Red Wing Shoes phone line, 701-293-9000. And coming up on the program today, we've got some fun things. Again, we'll be running down the forecast. We're going to be talking about fertilizer management tools as well as fake meat and down and dirty soil. We'll be talking about all four of those topics. And again, feel free to join us at any point in time during this afternoon.
Fake meat. You know anybody that eats that garbage?
Of course I do.
Do you really?
Yeah.
You go figure. You millennials. Seriously, you do know somebody that eats fake meat?
A lot of people eat fake meat.
Okay, wait a minute.
Vegetarians eat fake meat.
Yeah.
You don't know any vegetarians?
No.
That doesn't surprise me.
No.
I mean, are we talking plant-based meat, or are we talking like the lab-grown? Because there's a big difference.
I consider
right?
lab-grown Well, I guess you could consider it fake meat,
That's
but
fake
it's
meat.
still it's still meat, but it's not. It's fake meat, but it's still meat. Is the way I look at it. When I think of fake meat, I guess I'm thinking like plant-based.
That's just as bad.
Yes and no. Okay, so I always feel like you have to, just like voting, you can't complain unless you actually give it a try, right? So I have actually had one of the Beyond Burgers, and here's the thing: that is plant-based. It still uses soy proteins, pea proteins, all the things that we grow in the field. It does have an excessively high amount of sodium and fillers. Certainly not as much as this lab-grown meat or even some 3D meats that are being talked about. But I think the difference is if you don't eat good beef on a regular basis and you ate a Beyond Burger or any other, sort of the green burgers that are out there, you probably wouldn't know the difference. If you loaded up on a bun with ketchup and cheese and lettuce and all the stuff, you probably wouldn't know.
I mean, I've had plant. Go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you, Bridgette.
Yeah, but you're right. For those of us who have regular beef, it's a whole different game.
Yeah, I mean, I've had the veggie patties. I've had the plant-based meat, and I didn't think it was bad. And like you said,
exactly.
you would never know the difference. And
now let's talk about the lab-grown meat protein. I mean, it looks like we're this far in. Let's take this on, right?
Sure.
So right now, poor consumer reviews are showing that the lab-grown meats are not gaining traction and popularity. In fact, outside the U.S., the market share has fallen. One of the few places where market share has risen for the non-meat meats has been South America, surprisingly enough. Now, when you see that these guys are using the lab-grown meats, one thing that analysts really encourage is that if you farm and you raise cattle, make sure people understand how you raise them, why it's important, because the lab-based proteins, we're told their selling points to people were that it's going to use less land, less water, emit fewer greenhouse gases, and just be nutritionally equal to a real meat, whether that would be beef, poultry, or pork. The reality is none of that has come true. All of those goals have failed. So will lab-grown meat go away? Doubtful. But they're going to try to find a way to rebrand themselves.
So if I'm hearing you right, Bridgette, you mean our government was lying to us? There's no.
I don't even know if it was government. I think it was just maybe media, Dean.
Media and government lying to us? You got to be kidding me. Holy
Except
cow.
for you and me.
Yeah, right. Well, hey, we've got to get a couple people, since we've got a guest today, we've got to get a couple people qualified for winning rain gauge. At the end of the week, we'll be drawing for that. And again, this is one of our heavy-duty productive alternative rain gauges. So let's get a couple people qualified. We'll start with question number 1. And again, whoever can get the answer correct first will be entered to win that rain gauge at the end of the week. All right. Each year, I caused approximately $10 billion in damage across North America. What am I? Each year, I cause $10 billion in damage across North America. What am I?
Oh, come on.
Did you lose the trivia?
There's a bunch of issues with the software today. I just got it rebooted.
There
so.
you go. All right, so let's take our caller.
Hi there, caller. What's your name?
Jeff,
Jeff, what do you think the answer is?
hurricane.
It is not a hurricane.
Sorry, Jeff.
Sorry, Jeff.
Each year, I cause $10 billion in damage across North America. What am I?
Hi there, caller. What's your name?
Becky,
Becky, what do you think the answer is?
tornado.
It is not
No,
tornado,
that's a good guess,
but
though.
good
That's a
guess.
very good
Thanks
guess.
For calling. Try
I know
again.
what the other one is.
Well, you're going to have to call back.
Call back again.
Again, each year, I cause $10 billion in damage across North America. What am I?
Hi there, caller. What's your name?
Arden.
Arden, what do you think the answer is?
It's hail.
It is hail.
It is hail, Arden. Congratulations. Good answer.
Yeah,
Good guess.
I used to be a crop adjuster.
There you go. Well, that's perfect. That's right up your alley then. We actually thought it would.
Right.
We thought it would have been more than that when we were looking up some of these questions. So, okay.
I got your information,
Just
Arden.
because you get. Pardon me?
I said I got your information. Got you qualified for a chance to win.
Great.
All right.
Thank you.
Yep,
Arden,
thanks for
thank you so
listening and
much.
calling.
Should we get the other one in now, or you want to wait till the last segment? We got time. We got time. Let's rip it out now because we're going to be giving away Jay's stuff towards the end.
We'll do it at some point.
Okay. The current tornado ranking system is named after what famous scientist? The current tornado ranking system, so it's EF0 to EF5.
What about EF6?
Get out of town. It's named after what famous scientist?
Not you.
701-293-9000 if you know the answer to that, and you can get qualified to win one of our productive alternative rain gauges. The current tornado ranking system is named after what famous scientist?
Bridget, are you there?
I'm here.
I totally put you on hold on accident.
That's okay.
It's-
I was like, how come nobody can hear me talking about hail?
Man,
Never
they're
mind.
really ignoring me today. I must have really upset them.
It's Justin's first time running the board today, I think.
No, we just have way too
okay.
many phone lines going on today.
All right.
Hi there, caller. What's your name?
Yes, my name is Jim, and I'm thinking it's at Fujita. It's
Fajita.
TV scale.
Mr. Fajita.
Fujita, yeah, there you go.
Fujita. It's a Fujita.
It's a fajita, a
It's the-
vegeta.
yeah, Dr. Ted Fujita. We'll give it
No,
to
I'm
you.
hungry.
Yeah, we'll give it to you.
I'm hungry.
Hey, man, Paradiso's got a bomb lunch special right now.
There you go.
All right, here, hold on. I'm getting your information here. What was you said your name was Tim?
Oh, Jim.
Jim. Why did I put Tim? All right, let's see. One second. I'm just putting down your number here. My caller ID. All right.
All right.
I got you, Jim.
All right, Jim, be listening Friday for your chance to win. We'll draw a lucky name on Friday.
Thank you.
Thanks,
All right,
Jim.
bye, Jim.
Thanks for listening. All right.
Yeah, I totally was. I was merging
That
phone
was-
calls on one line earlier. Remember when James said, "Don't do that; it'll make a mess." Well,
And that's what
I
you
did.
did.
That, yeah, because I didn't. Click
You
the
listen
other
very
button.
well.
Not very well. No.
No, I know. That was sarcasm.
Hey, wasn't there something you wanted me to do today?
Yeah,
Not happening.
there was. I'll
Not
write you a
happening.
note.
Yeah,
I'll
don't
put
do
you a
that.
sticky note.
I can't read either.
Jeez. Oh, Bridget, it's one of those days with him. I wish you were
get me
here.
out of here.
I am looking forward to seeing the results of how this day goes, not only for this show, but Dean, you're going to the field today. You are going to make some video magic happen.
We're
Here
going to
we go.
try.
He's gonna make some magic happen. All right.
Well, we are getting closer and closer to our corn being planted, and our farmers are in the field today, and they kind of wanted to show off what they're doing. So seems like a really great idea for us to make sure that we're there to capture it.
And again, I think Trigby's going to let me drive the tractor, which the last combine I wrecked. So let's hopefully.
Oh, don't be so dramatic, Dean. You just dented it.
Well, that was enough.
It's not wrecked. It's just not quite worth what it was before you got it.
No, it's not. But that's what insurance is for.
And that's what affordable
you'll-
equipment is for.
Right.
You'll be with Parker, and Parker is Trigby's son. He's part of the operation. Parker might have to keep a closer eye on you than expected.
Yeah.
How's that grab you?
Well, especially when
Where's my rain, Dean?
Parker told me to bring a 12-pack. I'm like, a 12-pack of what? What kind of filming is this going to be? But what the heck? We'll see how it goes.
I don't need to ask a lot of questions. I'm not there. So it's all fine. Whatever you guys need to do.
This is getting interesting now.
We got a special guest coming up today. Bridgette, you want to introduce him?
We do indeed. We will be joined by Kristopher Reynolds. He's with American Farmland Trust. What's American Farmland Trust, you say? Well, I bet we're going to find out when he joins us very soon. So hold on for Kristopher Reynolds. We'll ask him that and many more questions, and you can call us on our Red Wing Shoe phone line, 701-293-9000. Be right back. Welcome back to Weather and Ag in Focus. It is indeed National Severe Weather Awareness Week, and that's part of the reason why we're giving away a rain gauge, right, guys? So people need to pay attention every day so we can get them qualified to win on Friday. That's our deal, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Also, a big thank you to ND Estate Services. Mark Wagner of ND Estate Services joined us in studio on Monday to talk about farm transitions and also Red Wing Shoes. Red Wing Shoes also sponsors our studio phone line at 701-293-9000. Estate Services and Red Wing Shoes are both sponsors of our Here We Grow project, so they're putting Dean in a tractor later today, you might say, for video. This ought to be worth watching, and you'll be able to catch up on all of our videos on YouTube and Facebook as we proceed with Custom Farming 20 Acres of Corn. And don't forget to catch us on Acres TV as well. We put our shows there daily. And speaking of daily events, people to talk to, fun things to visit about, well, that would be American Farmland Trust and our guest today, Kristopher Reynolds. Kristopher, how are you?
Hey, good afternoon, Bridgette. I'm doing well.
Well, thank you for taking the time. And as you may have heard us ask earlier, what is American Farmland Trust? I've had people send me messages this week asking if it's like Estate Services that was on with us earlier in the week talking about farm transition planning, but I don't think that's it. Can you clarify?
Yes, absolutely. I think we get that question often. I think we're a growing organization. American Farmland Trust is a national nonprofit organization. We were founded in 1980. One of the few organizations that kind of takes a holistic approach to conservation and agriculture. So our mission is to protect farmland, promote sound farming practices, and also help keep farmers on the land. So really looking at all of those different components and ways in which our programming can help do all three of those things.
So let's start with some of those, because I feel like I'm going to need a little bit better examples. When you say keeping farmers on the land and you have programming, et cetera, how can you explain what that means? Are we talking about like grants and loans? Is there something else that leads to that sort of a situation? What can you share with us?
Yeah, certainly, a lot of our work is really, we work on the ground with farmers. We work with landowners. We provide technical assistance to both farmers and landowners. We are in a position right now in the United States where we're planning to see about 300 million acres of land transition in the next 15 years. We just looked at the National Ag Statistics Survey that came out recently, and we know that the growing age of farmers is increasingly higher each time that survey comes out, and we know that there's going to be a lot of land that changes hands, and when that happens, we typically see fewer farmers on the landscape. So we work with programs that help promote additional land access for a new generation of farmers and also new farmers. We also work with farmers and landowners to help protect their land from development. So in the United States, we recently conducted some farms under threat research that took a look at the amount of farmland that's being lost. And while some of our competitors are increasing the amount of farmland that they have access to, here in the United States, unfortunately, we're losing about 2,000 acres a day. So our farmland protection work really centers around advocating for easements, farmland protection easements, and working with local land trusts as well as landowners and through state and federal programs to help keep that land in agriculture so that it's not lost and we can continue to utilize it for farming and food production well into the future. Okay, so a couple of questions along with those things. You were saying that this has been an organization that has been around since 1980, and you talked about protecting this land, et cetera. Do you have an idea how many acres you've already been able to do in that time since the inception of American Farmland Trust? Yeah, I think we're somewhere near 8 million acres of land that in one way or another we have helped protect. We work closely with local land trusts. We are a national land trust ourselves, but we work to provide resources to those local land trusts to empower them to be able to protect more land and keep it in agriculture. Okay. So that's a kind of a big question, is protecting the land. Are you talking about the time frame in which someone retires from farming and it goes up for auction? Does this happen while someone is still actively farming and wants to build a trust and do some other things in order to protect it for future generations? Maybe what does that look like? I think it could be all of the above. I think we've worked with farmers and landowners who want to secure that farm for the next generation, and they may do that earlier in their career. They also tend to think about it more as they lean towards retirement. So there's significant, tax savings in doing some of these transactions that are really beneficial. And it can really help provide the security that farming operation needs to continue their farming operation, maybe expand a little bit as they place some of these easements on farmland that's maybe at risk for development.
When you say easements, Chris, are you saying that you all actually help draw up the easements, or you know where to go to get those done?
We help in the development of those easements. We also work with those that we work with the land trust and others that can put those easements in place. It is something that's in most cases in perpetuity. So once that easement is placed on that property, with the stipulation that it remains in agricultural production, then that's how it stays from here on out. And so, there's significant costs that are incurred with some of these transactions. An easement also can reduce the value of the land. And oftentimes through programming, we're able to pay, or through a program, we're able to pay the difference between a price the land would bring at auction if it was sold now and versus if it was sold with an easement attached to it. So the easement can lower the value of that when you think about property that may be in an area that's being developed. It may be worth more money because it's has that development potential. So there are ways that the landowner can access some additional funding, additional capital by putting an easement on their property.
And Kristopher, you got something called a solar program. Could you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, just a few years ago, we started our Smart Solar initiative. We as an organization support renewable energy generation, but we also recognize that it's coming at a cost to our farmland across much of the U.S. And so AFT's in what I would say a unique position in that we both are supportive of renewable energy, but also recognizing that it's we're losing farmland at a rapid rate. And so we developed our Smart Solar principles, which basically, try to guide solar developers and also guide policies so that we can locate some of these solar developments on brownfield sites, rooftops, parking lots, anywhere else but farmland if possible. And if solar is going to be developed on farmland, we want to look at some of the more marginal lands and ways that can be better utilized. The other component to our Smart Solar principles is also incorporating what we call dual use or agrivoltaics. So looking for ways that we can still produce crops in between the solar panels. So we have the best of both worlds in some cases, and so we're getting ready to kick off a few demonstration projects, research projects that are looking at what crops might be applicable here in the U.S. And also grazing components. What opportunities do we have to graze some of these solar developed sites?
So when you're talking about growing a crop in between the solar panels or getting a dual purpose use out of them on farmland, what does that look like? What kind of crop are you growing? I guess what I'm trying to figure out is if you're trying to grow crops in between solar panels, what does that look like, and how do you end up harvesting stuff in between solar panels?
Yeah, well, certainly the equipment sizes have to be much smaller than maybe what we're used to. So we're looking in some cases at a hay crop. We're also looking at small grains. We have to, in order for a developer to keep the costs down, we can't raise the panels up, really high in order to grow something like corn. So we're looking at some of those small grains and other crops that are more low growing. And those are really applicable for large acreage sites. Certainly there's places in the U.S. that are doing vegetable production on much smaller scales and in between solar panels and finding that works really well also. One of the other opportunities that this creates is farmland access. So thinking about that next generation of farmers and some of the opportunities to diversify a crop rotation or add new crops and new market opportunities it really gives us an opportunity to look at what's possible when we think about growing crops in between solar panels.
Do you think, I don't know if this is something that's come up in discussion or anything like that, but is there or would there, do you think there'd be any fire concern if growing in between solar panels? I think it may depend on where exactly it is, but solar panels get hot. You're obviously dealing with electricity. Crops dry down in the fall. Is there any concerns or thought about that?
Yeah, I think there's definitely some concerns, and certainly we're the areas where the panels are growing will have different vegetation than what's being
Mm-hmm.
grown in between the panels, so it kind of cuts down on some of that risk that may be incurred there.
Okay. Well, we got to get caught up with bottom of the hour news here, Kristopher. So we're going to take a quick moment here. If anyone listening has a question, feel free to call in. We'll get that answered. 701-293-9000 is the Red Wing Shoes phone line, as well as our emails, weatherorag@flagfamily.com. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
And a welcome back to Weathered Ag in Focus. Oh, that little sound of thunder, probably what we're going to see later this week.
One day soon.
Gosh, you guys. Yeah, we really haven't even hardly talked about the weather yet today, have we?
That's all right.
We'll get to that. We're going to get to that. That's part of what we do. But right now we are talking with our guest today, and that is Kristopher Reynolds. He is with American Farmland Trust. And so, Kristopher, we've had several things come in as far as email questions, and one of them is, you are a member organization. Who are your members? How do they join? And do you have a presence here in the state of North Dakota?
Yeah, certainly. We are a member organization. You can go to farmland.org if you're interested in becoming a member. We represent all of the United States. Our regional programming currently is not working in North Dakota, but hopefully someday soon we'll be expanding to those areas. But our national initiatives, work all across the United States. So when I talk about, our farms under threat and farmland protection, and also we think about our promoting sound farming practices, there's programming that we're doing that affects everyone, every farmer and landowner. And so our members are farmers, they are landowners, they are also just average people across the U.S. that care about agriculture, that care about farming, and want to see the farming livelihood stay well into the future.
And Kristopher, what's another email question from one of our listeners? Wants to know what's your stance on climate control and its influence on what you guys do?
Yeah, interesting question. I don't know if I've heard the term climate control before. We are certainly, we work closely with a lot of state and federal programs to promote cover crops, to promote no-till, to promote those sound farming practices. And so we, those practices have a lot of benefits. When we initially started working on a lot of those practices, it was really around soil health. It was around water quality. We recognize that these practices can really help improve some of those environmental conditions that also include climate. So, when we promote these practices, when we work with landowners, whether it's providing them technical assistance or helping them find financial assistance for some of these practices, we are not just getting water quality benefits from them. We're getting climate benefits from them as well. So we're also working with some climate smart commodities projects as well, working to help farmers adopt new practices and make them work for their operation.
Cool.
Well, and the more you can help them adopt, the better for all of them. I have no doubt that farmers are probably asking you what works in one area versus another, because you serve as a regional representative. Is that correct, Chris?
Yeah, that's correct. And so certainly, things for us in the Midwest are much different from north to south. In the southern part of our region, cover crops can work really well, especially on some of our marginal soils. As we get further north, we see cover crops working in Canada, so we know it's possible. But certainly the strategies are much different. The goals for farmers are much different as well. So all of that has to be taken into account when working with farmers and providing them the assistance they need to help meet their goals.
So what are some other programs you have offered over there?
It depends on what program area you want to learn more about. So, again, the sound farming practice is part of our mission. We are working, with ADM. We're working with TrueTerra, some other companies, to provide some additional soil health training and support for cover crops. We also do a lot of policy and advocacy work. We're an organization that talks about from kitchen table to Congress, and I think it's one of the unique things about American Farmland Trust is that we're working on the ground with farmers. We're working at the local level. We're working within watersheds. We're also working at the state level with policy, and we're taking everything that we're learning from those experiences and we're using it to help formulate our stance in the Farm Bill. So, it's really, when we talk kitchen table to Congress, it really is just that. We are learning from farmers about what's working well and what's not, what needs to be improved, and we're trying to raise up those concerns and find solutions for them in the next Farm Bill.
Kristopher, you mentioned the Farm Bill, and so my question to that would be, as you are having those discussions from the kitchen table to Congress, what are some of the high points that you are hearing from your members that you want to take forward? And are there any aha moments that Congress people are having when you do reach out to them?
Yeah. So one of the efforts that we've been working on, we started a program that's now in 4 states: Illinois, Iowa, Wisconsin, and Indiana. And it's a crop insurance premium discount program that pays farmers or removes $5 from their crop insurance bill when they use cover crops. This program has been really well received. So we've taken that program up and introduced it as the Cover Act. Hopefully, that will be incorporated into the next Farm Bill. You may remember in 2021 and 2020 the pandemic cover crop program. It was essentially modeled after that state program. And for those 2 years, farmers that had planted cover crops received that discount on their crop insurance. So that program has been really well received, and we hope to expand it so that it's available nationwide. So that's just one example of how we're working, at the local level, developing state programs and looking for ways that we can expand them even more at the federal level. We also, work closely with the Natural Resources Conservation Service. So, right now with the influx of Inflation Reduction Act funds, there is a historic amount of funding available for conservation. But we also recognize the capacity may not be there to help support farmers that want to adopt new practices. And so they're accessing, some of this financial assistance, and we want to make sure that capacity is there at the local level, through NRCS, through the local conservation districts.
And I think that at this point, if folks wanted to reach out to you and share more information, you'd probably be willing to take their input to make sure that what a farmer really wants to have done happens at their level. I don't think you'd be surprised to hear that, would you?
No, not at all. And I think it looks like we may have a little bit of time to get things polished up in the Farm Bill.
What's your prognostication there? Are we going to get it done this year? I mean, it's only April, but I've already started to hear people saying, I don't know if we're going to get there, even though I think our self-set deadline is somewhere around the end of Q3.
Yeah, I really don't know. There's just so many different factors that are going to come into play the remainder of this year that it's just really hard to determine whether or not we're going to get one. I'm hopeful that we will get one. I think everyone is. I think it just provides farmers with that security of knowing that Farm Bill is in place and we can move on.
So, Chris, as we wind down, I want to make sure that you get the opportunity to share with folks, farmers or non-farmers, how can they find you? How can they become members, and what benefits will they see by joining?
Yeah, absolutely. Fairly simple, farmland.org. You can go on there. You can check out all of our different programming, learn about becoming a member, learn how to get involved. Learn about what we're doing across the U.S., not just here in the Midwest, but a lot of great information on our website and information about how you become a member.
And the website is pretty full, so I do appreciate I was able to get a lot of information off of there in regards to what you guys do and how you do it. So thank you for joining us today, Kristopher. Oh, by the way, you're in Illinois, if I'm not mistaken, right?
That is correct.
And you farm, so I guess our biggest question is, are you farming yet? Do you have enough moisture? What does that look like in Illinois?
We were really dry in March. Really worried. I do cover crops on my farm, and kind of worried about, maybe having to terminate them a little bit early just so that they weren't pulling too much moisture out of the ground. We were really dry, really warm in March as well. We saw a few farmers planting late March. I've got some beans up in my neighborhood. I'm in South Central Illinois. Since that time, we've been wet, so we've been able to get into the field 3 or 4 days at a time. We just had some rain again yesterday, and it looks like we're going to get somewhere in the neighborhood of 2 to 4 inches over the weekend. So we're back into kind of a wet spring, but a lot of farmers made a lot of progress, especially last week here in this part of Illinois.
Good news.
Well, I appreciate the update from there. Absolutely, Justin. So thank you again, Chris. Thanks for joining us. And folks, don't go anywhere. You know that at some point yet today, you're going to hear the sounder, and it's not me, but sooner or later, the sounder is going to come up for Jay's tax relief, where you can qualify for that $1,000 giveaway that's going to be happening this Friday, I believe. And that is brought to us from ATI of Fargo, as well as Coast Materials. They want to make sure that you don't rely on a tax return. They can help support you by supporting Jay's $1,000 of tax relief. So pay attention for that. We'll be back.
Oh, God, who's going to open the show?
Well,
I guess I did.
think we already opened the show. How about close the last segment?
Everyone's like, Who's doing it?
Welcome back. 1:50 in the afternoon, almost 1:51 here, and
Ooh, Malibu rum.
Malibu rum.
151 Malibu rum.
Oh, boy.
Yeah,
You're on top of it. I know it's on your mind.
Yeah.
Your days
I
only
could
half
be on
over.
a boat in a lake right now.
I could be. That would perfect day for it.
What a beautiful day.
Sunshine, light winds
Beautiful
out there.
day.
Yeah, we're going to continue with the nice weather as we head into the rest of the afternoon. Highs today close to 70 with those light winds out of the south. It does turn breezy tonight, not nearly as chilly. We were in the 20s this morning. We'll be in the low to mid 40s for tomorrow morning. And then we'll see an increase in clouds throughout the day on Thursday. It's going to be windy, though. We'll have winds gusting up to or in excess of 40 miles an hour, and highs in the low to mid 70s. Rain comes in Thursday night, lasts through Friday night into Saturday morning. We'll see a break on Saturday for a brief period of time. Then another system comes in Saturday night into Sunday. Highs cooling down into the upper 40s to near lower 50s over the weekend. So much cooler weather heading our way. And rainfall. And again, we're looking at up to an inch of rain over the next 3 days.
Cool.
That's
good stuff. News. Good stuff. So my question is, with all the wind, you said that's coming in tomorrow. Mm-hmm. Why do they keep doing that?
Well, it's from the so when they're
why don't they just flip the windmills off?
Well, here's the thing.
From South Dakota, I drive by them all the time going down to Sioux Falls.
From all the chemtrail spraying.
Sure.
Okay, that's causing much windier conditions.
Oh, so you're saying it's the airplane's fault.
When they don't spray. When they don't spray the chemtrails.
And that's because the skies have been blue.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with the windmills.
Oh, no, definitely not.
If you have a windmill anywhere near your house, congratulations. It's like a graveyard for birds. And they say the noise causes cancer. You tell me that one, okay?
See, it has nothing to do with the windmills.
No, nothing to do with that. No. See, I thought they just flipped them on, and then they left them on since it always comes out of the south from South Dakota. But I guess I was wrong. Bridgette, you having fun over there?
Just ignoring everything you're talking about.
You having fun now?
Goodness. And there we go with the goat. Got it. Okay. Remember, there are some out there that every time they hear it, they think there's a problem with a piece of equipment or somebody's getting hurt on the farm.
That's a weird piece of equipment.
Yeah, right.
That's terrible.
I don't know. Man, that's a lot of money.
What number should we take?
I don't know. 50?
15.
15.
Lucky number 15.
Oh, 50.
No, 15.
49. 48. Caller number 3. Caller number 4.
Justin's not good at math.
6.
Justin gets stuck after 10.
Yeah, I'm going to stop counting here because this is just not going to work. Jesus, 85 callers already? Do you guys do anything throughout the afternoon?
It's $1,000, buddy.
Is everybody here on a boat or what? What's going on today, caller? What's your name?
Would you just
Would I just what?
take my call because I'm trying to call too?
I don't know. This might be you. No one's answering. Hello, caller.
Yeah, well, this is Jim.
Jim! You're caller number 50.
Sweet.
Yeah, you just got entered to win $1,000. Congratulations.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. What would you do if you won that $1,000 that's going to get drawn on Friday?
Save it for my trip to Canada this summer.
Hey,
Nice.
good idea.
There
Well,
you go.
best of luck to you. Stay on the line here. Our producer will get a little more information from you, and then that way we can get you fully registered to win.
Thanks.
Yep,
Thanks,
no problem. Enjoy Canada, by the way. Beautiful that time of year. Man, I'll tell you what.
Fishing up there in summer.
Weren't we just talking
Going
about being
fishing.
on a boat in a lake?
Right?
He could probably buy a boat with $1,000. I didn't say a nice boat.
Yeah,
Just
right?
a boat.
Yeah, with a few holes in it.
I saw a little dinghy
A
at
raft.
Costco the other day for like $1,000.
He's getting a raft, is what you're saying.
Exactly, right?
It's a boat's a boat. You know.
I'm not so sure about that.
Yeah, you
Nice
know,
title.
if it floats, it's boat in my book. Anyway, we got a couple more ag topics to wrap up the show today with our check on the forecast we just did. Why don't we run down and dirty soil?
Well, goodness. Thankfully, our friend Sarah Levis has coached us
Dirt.
very, very well to remember it's soil, not dirt, because it's a living thing. And we so much know that there's a lot more to soil than meets the eye. When you start looking at it, we have to remember that it's such a basic structure. It is really the weathered pieces of rock that are all broken down. And you guys talked about the other day, if you get like a teaspoon of soil out of the ground, that it has more organisms in it than there are people on Earth. Well, if you think about the zoo in Omaha having over 1,000 animal species, that could have at least 10,000 species in that tablespoon of soil as well.
Holy.
So it outnumbers the zoo, although there are days where I'm pretty sure this place is the zoo. Maybe not in
Somebody
Omaha.
say a zoo?
Pretty sure that was going to be how it happened right there.
Well,
Silly
you're
me
just
and my
feeding
choice
into
of
it at
words.
this point.
She is.
Apparently, I'm wildly distracted, and I just can't make anything happen without bringing out a goat, a zoo, and all the bad ideas. There
Bridget's
we are.
over here mentally be like, I wonder if I could remember all the sounders on the board and if I can get them to play them just by saying key words.
No, nope.
Got him!
You'll also pay attention to the fact that I zoned out while you guys talked about chemtrails as usual today. So there you go.
You'd learn a thing
remember
if you
that-
listened.
There's no way I'm picking up what you're putting down there. Back to our ag headlines. Don't forget also that South Dakota State University Extension has put together with many other fertilizer recommendations around the country what's called the Fertilizer Recommendation Support Tool, FRST or FIRST. This is a uploaded database that you can use. It primarily focuses on corn and soybeans, but you can also look at roughly 21 other major crops. And there's going to be not only phosphorus, potassium, all the way to sulfur recommendations involved. If you would like the link to it, it is soiltestfrst.org, or you can just email me, ag@flagfamily.com, and I will gladly go ahead and send that link to you.
There you go. Appreciate it, Bridget. And you got a class to go teach,
No
don't
problem.
you?
Yeah, I got some things to go do.
All right. Well, we'll let you sneak on out of here. We'll wrap up the show. Appreciate you all joining in today and listening. The Jay Thomas Show's coming up next. Enjoy the rest of this funk. And, oh, yeah, by the way, these are not the droids you're looking for.